It's Sunday, February 19th, 2012. I'm Kevin McShann, and this is the McShann Sports Beat Report.
Special forces are in full flight. We're coming by air and on the ground. Monday Night Football's taking over the town. We gotta get ready. We gotta get right. It's gonna be a battle in the NFL tonight. So get ready. I mean, get ready. Are you ready for some football? A Monday night invasion. Yeah, this is rockin' with a special alert for the nation. Here come the hits, the bangs, the blocks, and the spikes. Cause all my rowdy friends drop in on Monday night time. Let it fly, boy.
Last minute and change with Mike Tirico. People love Jaws. They enjoy you and Gruden and Jaws. And now it'll be just you and Gruden. What's your take on that, Michael?
I'll miss Jaws. I absolutely will. We talked earlier this week. I'm going to see him here in a couple of weeks when I get back to Philly. He's every cloudy day is complete sunshine with Jaws.
Yeah, right.
He's the all-time fun person to be around. And all three of us, we spent 5 hours sitting on the field at the Super Bowl doing hits in and out for the 4-hour countdown show. And the three of us got along great and still do. And we will miss Jaws, and I'll miss working games with him. Going back to a two-man booth, something I haven't done in 8 years. It'll be fun, but I'm overwhelmed at the obsession with who's broadcasting games. I still think that for the color analyst makes an impact on the game. For us play-by-play guys, we're by and large interchangeable, and I usually watch the game for who's playing the game.
Yeah.
I'm not overwhelmed by who's announcing the game, and it still shocks me the amount of conversation about it. But so be it, and we'll show up, and I'll do my best to give everybody the best show possible on Mondays, and some will love it, some will like it, some will hate it, but I'll keep trying.
Branded partnerships of longevity, intrigue, and of a captivating nature are extremely difficult to maintain in this day and age, mainly because of the ever-evolving door of change and our insatiable appetite for variation. And for ESPN, the time has come for them to reshuffle their playing cards and cut from a new deck when it comes to the lineup in their Monday Night Football booth by ousting Ron Jaworski after a 5-year stint and allowing the always excitable and entertaining Jon Gruden to step into the lead analyst role. I am grateful for having the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity of working on Monday Night Football the past 5 seasons with Mike Tirico, Jon Gruden, and so many other talented people who make the show so great. I look forward to bringing my passion and knowledge about the game to more fans in more places than ever before on any and all football topics, Jaworski said in a statement regarding his departure from the Monday Night Football broadcast team. Jaworski originally joined ESPN in 1990, following a 17-year playing career, mainly with the Philadelphia Eagles. Since joining ESPN, he has served in a number of different roles, including sideline reporter, studio host, and analyst. Despite leaving the broadcast booth, the veteran broadcaster has signed a new 5-year contract to remain at ESPN. In his new role, Jaworski will make regular appearances on an assortment of ESPN's NFL programming, including Sunday, NFL Countdown, NFL Live, NFL Matchup, NFL Kickoff, Mike and Mike in the Morning, and PTI's 5 Good Minutes. He'll also be featured in the network's Super Bowl and draft coverage. I thank Ron for the great contributions he has made to Monday Night Football and look forward to the many ways he'll enhance our studio presentation from our NFL-branded shows to SportsCenter. ESPN President John Skipper said in a statement, with two strong analysts and Ron and Jon, these moves will better utilize their strengths and benefit our entire NFL presentation. The two-man broadcast team of Mike Tirico and Gruden are set to make their Monday Night Football debut on September 10th. The regular season schedule is set to be released in the coming months. This will mark the first time in 15 years that ESPN has used a two-man broadcast team to call NFL games since Mike Patrick and Joe Theismann had the dubious distinction of calling Sunday night football games from 1988 to 1997. Tirico continued his media tour on Friday by appearing on the Dan Patrick Show to further discuss the realignment of the broadcast booth at ESPN, and he also touched upon the difficulty of calling games with Tony Kornheiser, something Tirico did for 2 seasons.
All right, let's talk about 3-man to now 2-man booth, you working with Jon Gruden. I saw Jaws at the Super Bowl, and there's no way that he saw this coming because he was talking about renegotiating his contract. Why did this come about that Jaws is now out and it's just you and Jon?
Yeah, I don't know the why. As you know, there's employee and employer, and I'm employee, so I don't know the management specifics of the how and the why. I do know that there's no rift amongst any of us. We spend more time Super Bowl week hanging out. We do a 4-hour pregame on Super Bowl Sunday, then there's an hour beforehand with SportsCenter that the three of us were doing on the field. And we spend that 5 hours just chatting away and talking about stuff leading up to the draft and the combine and all of that. So we've all been operating that we were going to be going ahead like this. So the decisions and the whys, that's somebody else's responsibility to answer and somebody else's decision. The three of us do get along great. I've talked to Jaws a couple of times already. We will remain close, and I'm glad that Jaws is staying with ESPN. He's been there 20 years, and I love him to death. And we're going to continue to stay friends. Matter of fact, we're going to see each other here the next couple of weeks when I come back to Philly.
But why make this decision? If you guys got along, you spent time together, starting to blend, good numbers, Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I think the shows and the broadcasts were fine. Honestly, you would have to ask our management as to why.
But wouldn't they say something to you, Mike, because it changes your job?
It does change my job. There's no doubt. And we'll talk about what 2 is going to mean as opposed to 3. But we haven't at this point. We haven't gotten into a lengthy conversation about it. I can be honest with you about that. It's a different dynamic. Doing a booth with 2 is something that is, I guess, I haven't really done in the NFL. So it'll be very different for me, and I think it's more responsibility on me. So I know it puts more pressure on both me and Jon to do that job. So I don't necessarily know the real mechanics of this is why we want to do this. I know I was told earlier this week, hey, we're going with 2, and it's going to be you and Jon.
But what if you said then?
I'm sorry?
What if you said to management, why? Did you say why?
I did say why, and honestly, I'm not going to share that with everybody because that's not everybody's business. And the answer I got, I believe. But going forward, I'll make 2 work. I'll make 3 work. As you know, I've worked with every possible collection of people in basketball and football and every other sport. So if this is the way they want to go, that's fine. We'll make it work.
Well, I think they're all in with Gruden to make him a star, and I understand that. I'd like to see Jon act like he does off the air a little bit more on the air, because you know how that personality is.
Yeah.
He's funny, he's snarky, but he gets on the air. He's too nice to everybody. Everybody can play.
You know what? I think that was a legitimate criticism a couple of years ago. I think if people listen this year, they're stuck back on their criticism from a couple of years ago. Jon was much more aggressive in terms of honesty about players not playing. You don't have to say this guy made a terrible play to be critical of him. I think we all have a style, and I think Jon also has an appreciation as a coach of not every play is perfect. And being a recent coach too, I know this. I know the guy who people come to talk to in the NFL when we're traveling around about this is what we're doing, this is what we're thinking about doing. He's as up to date as any analyst I've worked with in terms of staying
experience if he gets a call from a team?
That's a great question. Are you available?
Oh, I'm not allowed back in the mothership, Mike. You know that.
Maybe they'll make dispensation.
Who would be more?
I don't know. You know, people have said Jon would be back coaching the last 2 years, and he's still there, and he's committed for a longer period now. So, candidly, I feel he'll coach at some point down the line, but I don't think it's immediately. I think he's really truly enjoying this, despite having to spend 20 weeks with me.
How difficult was it to do a game with Tony Kornheiser in the booth with you? Even as smart as he was, as funny as he was, to still try to do a game knowing that you actually have to set up Tony?
It's very odd, very different, and a challenge I wish I was better at, because I'm so used to, and I think everybody who does this, used to turning to the person next to you and being able to talk about what just happened on the field. And you couldn't, so it took you away from the game a little bit to get there, even though it was the people related to the game. So there was that challenge. But Tony, like you said, Tony's intelligence and smarts, and also his perspective on stars and star athletes and coaches. Tony was, one of the joys of being around Tony is seeing the world less filtered. Tony's filter free, and always has been, and always will be. It brought that columnist, snarkiness, New York attitude to that in large part. And I think I'd see sports differently from the time being around Tony, the way he approached different things. But within the body of the game, huge challenge. Because look, there are so many pregame shows on.
Yeah.
There's plenty of time to talk about all the people around the game. For the 3 hours and 15 minutes in football, people want just the game and very little more. At least that's the way I've seen it and heard it from fans over the last few years.
The time capsule of experience and the journey of magnificence all has their own separate expiration date, causing all of us to pause, cherish, and reflect upon the opportunities we have to preserve the memories of the people in our lives who have had such an overriding and tremendous presence. And for the last 5 seasons, Ron Jaworski has had the humbling privilege and honor of reaching millions of fans on one of the NFL's greatest platforms, and for that matter, one of the greatest spectacles in all of sports. Monday Night Football is a venue like no other, and Ron Jaworski brought his passion, enthusiasm, and energetic nature to the broadcast booth each and every Monday. And now, that chapter in his life is closed, and Jon Gruden now gets a tremendous opportunity to step under the brightest of lights and really flourish as the lead analyst of Monday Night Football. As for Jaworski, he now has another opportunity to reach a grander audience on a larger scale and spread his wings in a multitude of ways. As for ESPN, they've decided to realign the stars, and hopefully for everyone, the stars will continue to shine. Kevin McShann, Sports Beat, report.